All right, great. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pcloudy's webinar on the QA Leader's Guide to Building an Agentic Quality Platform. My name is Dinakar, and I will be the host for today. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping rules. You may have noticed that your line is currently muted, and if you do have any questions, you can submit them using the Q&A option given at the bottom of the screen. We will answer your questions towards the end of the webinar in the Q&A section. Please note that this webinar is being recorded as well, and we will send out the link of the recording to share with your colleagues later or watch it a second time. With that said, let me introduce the speaker for today, Avinash Tiwari. Avinash is a renowned thought leader, a recognized keynote speaker, and also the co-founder of Pcloudy. With over two decades of experience in product development and testing, Avinash brings with him a passion for AI and other emerging technologies. He is a firm believer of quick adoption and agility in the tech space, all of which have solidified his reputation as a leader in the world of digital testing. So without further ado, let me hand it to our speaker, Avinash Tiwari. Over to you, Avinash.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Dinakar, for the warm introduction. I'm super excited to host all of you here for this very special topic around building Agentic AI platform. I mean, at Pcloudy, we have been using AI in various forms for more than 5 years now. But about 2 years ago, when Gen AI burst into our scene, the excitement reached an entirely new level. And since then, every day has brought fresh curiosity about the future and also a lot of excitement around how it will transform our world of quality engineering. And I'm sure you all must be feeling the same way as we have seen the progress in last 2 years. So at this moment, I truly believe that we are at the juncture of one of the most exciting, or to be more precise, unique time in the history of technology. And the transformation that we are seeing isn't just coming. I feel it's already here. So today, when we are going to talk about the agentic AI in quality engineering, I firmly believe that it's going to change a lot of perspective in the way you think about quality engineering, and some of you might be already thinking in that direction. So I would love to hear your thoughts, and we can keep it interactive. So you can share your thoughts in the Q&A session. I would love to know more about your journey and how you envision agentic AI in the quality engineering space. So before we get into the core of today's discussion and agenda, I want to start with a quick experiment, or maybe a thought exercise, just to understand a point of view from the perspective of how fast things are moving. So what I would like you to do is, and you can cheat because we can't see each other, or you can open ChatGPT and answer this question. It's a quick thought exercise where you close your eyes and think about breakthroughs that you have heard or you came across in the world of AI in last 30 days. And I'm not talking about last quarter or maybe last year or last 2 years. I'm talking about just last 30 days. So just go back to your thoughts and try to figure out what all you heard about kind of announcements or breakthroughs in the world of AI. Great. I mean, you can put your thoughts in chat, how many announcements that you could think about. And I'm sure you must have been surprised with the kind of thoughts that you might have come across. Some of you might have lost count. I definitely lost my count. And to give you a sense, I'm not sure you all attended the OpenAI Dev Day summit that happened last night. And if you're aware of those announcements, so OpenAI launched a app SDK, which means that you can access any app which are using their app SDK directly from ChatGPT. And I've been thinking about interfaceless UI, UI-less kind of application. And with this announcement, I think we are moving to that direction where application UI probably in some years might become meaningless. You can access everything through a prompt and perform all the tasks through a prompt. Why do you need UI navigation? They also announced an Agentic AI platform where through prompt you can build a whole agent orchestration, something which earlier would have taken so much time for anyone to even think and build and bring it to life to be used in production kind of systems. And if you can go back maybe 15 days, 20 days late, I mean, earlier, Claude had announced a similar kind of features, especially with their new Claude Sonnet model. You can think on and on about the number of announcements that we came across. Another big one was OpenAI NVIDIA partnership to invest 100 billion in AI infrastructure. So just imagine the scale at which AI will get deployed into various areas. And that's exactly is the point. The, the pace of AI change isn't just fast, it's truly overwhelming. And sometimes it's dizzy to catch up with what's happening in the world of AI and the way things are changing around us. And as we speak, it's accelerating. In certain areas, I also see that the capabilities are plateauing, but still to catch up with what has been in front of us and the way some of the new developments are happening, it's still overwhelming for all of us. Now, having gone through that thought experience, exercise, um, I want to kind of talk a little bit about why AI as a change is different from what we have seen as technology waves in past. And I call it a leverage equation. So if we, I mean, I am sure we all have experienced different technology waves in our career last couple of decades that I have seen multiple waves. But in all other waves, uh, the outcome or the productivity gains from those technology changes were typically linear, right? So if you bring a new tool, you will see some productivity gain in terms of, let's say, 20%, 30%, 50%, even maybe double 100%. But with the I think the gains are becoming exponential. And that is one big reason why this wave is very different. And we are already seeing, for example, we have seen support teams getting completely revolutionized with the AI-driven chatbots. The marketing teams are able to handle maybe 50 campaigns, which earlier used to take 5 people, but maybe 1 or 2 people are right now enough to do that kind of work. Development teams are already seeing increase in velocity in terms of code generation. We are seeing the same in case of a lot of other areas. And that's where, I mean, in the slide, I have put a question mark on the quality engineering, and that's the answer we would like to have today. What does exponential leverage look like in the space of quality engineering? Right? And what's the new paradigm here? What is making it possible, right? I mean, we talk about leverage equation, but if we just kind of drill a little bit deeper, what are the changes which are bringing this kind of exponential gain to the world of development and a lot of other areas which are impacted here. And I've listed three things. There are many impact which is causing this exponential improvement in the productivity, but I've listed three that I have come across, and it is impacting even my work and how I have been able to become more productive with the help of AI. So first, English has become a new programming language. So you are not supposed to write maybe test scripts anymore, right? You describe intentions, and AI is able to provide the answer to you. And you can look at this as a threat, but after a long time, there is a technology which is helping everyone become a creator. So we are not just executor anymore. We all can become creator because English has become the new programming language. Now, today, when I have to go and tell my developers to develop a particular feature, I create a small prototype using Cursor or Lovable, I mean, combination of Lovable and Cursor, and show it to them that this is what I'm looking at. Can you build it for me? Earlier, I had to either explain them in form of a verbal discussion or create a kind of document. But now I can create a small prototype, working prototype, and show it to them. That's a change. And we all can become creator with this huge leverage that we have, that English is the new programming language. A huge shift for all of us. And we should really adopt to this change rather than being threatened by it. And that is kind of leading to this whole vibe-based coding and testing. I'm not saying that this is an end in terms of that vibe coding or vibe testing can do everything, but it can immensely improve the way we work right now, or the way we can become productive in the future. And third, related to this, is it's helping us in terms of evolving roles and expectations. So like I said, as part of the first point, that we all are becoming creators. So from doers to creators to strategists, that's the level of evolution which is happening in terms of roles and expectation across the board, and including QE. And that's one big impact which we are seeing because of this whole paradigm shift with the AI revolution. So, and just to, before we talk about QE, it's not just about the area of development and testing which is getting changed. Every single industry is being impacted, right? So if you look at legal, now AI can read thousands of contracts per hour, and it can summarize your contracts, find out discrepancies within seconds and minutes, which used to take so many hours for a particular lawyer to go through and figure out. In healthcare, we are seeing AI diagnosis improving the accuracy and supporting doctors and saving lives. In finance, now we can detect frauds in milliseconds. In retail, you can predict the demand with uncanny precision. In entertainment industry, now you can generate videos or even movies with the help of AI. You don't need a huge production infrastructure to do that. So everyone can become a movie creator now. And that is true for even quality engineering space, right? So we can't afford to be in past where we are still writing test cases manually or writing brittle test scripts, struggling with your test coverage. The question isn't if the quality engineering will be transformed by AI, but how fast. And we are already seeing that change. I need not kind of repeat that statement that the change is coming. We are already seeing testing is one of the areas which are getting impacted faster than some of the other areas in the space of application development. Now, how have we reached there? Just to trace the evolution over last 20 years, and this is based on my experience over last 2 decades. Very quickly, era one was manual, where we were writing scripts, or we were not writing scripts, we were writing test cases in a spreadsheet. Human execution, take screenshots, log bugs. The release cycle was weeks or months per test cycle. I mean, it was traditionally waterfall kind of model that we all worked in that era. Era two brought automation, right? So we saw evolution of scripts, frameworks. We could schedule runs. So we got down from months to weeks or days, depending on the complexity of the applications. We also saw evolution of agile and DevOps methodologies. Now, era third came AI assistance, where we saw some tools which could help us in script creation, self-healing, automated executions, etc. Typically, the DevOps continuous testing kind of era I'm talking about, where we were able to reduce the overall release cycles from weeks to maybe days or hours, in some cases even minutes per cycle. We saw organizations doing maybe tens of releases per day. Companies like Facebook, Amazon, they do hundreds of releases every day, and we saw that in this era. But now we are into this era of agentic quality engineering, right? It's not just about, so all three eras, if you just notice the trend, it was about improving the speed, right? We saw huge improvement in the speed at which we could work, or we could release the applications. Era 4, which is agentic, is fundamentally different, right? We are talking about autonomous systems. We are talking about self-evolving systems, where the quality can, I mean, the continuous quality can happen without human intervention, right? And whether humans are supposed to perform a strategist or a orchestration role rather than typical execution role. So this is not about bringing new tools. This is about fundamentally changing how quality engineering is looked at. So with that as a context of how things are moving so fast, how we have reached this stage, I just wanted to quickly touch upon the impact of this change in the area of testing from some data perspective, right? So there are two graphs here. One, there is a survey in which it was asked, what is the plan to implement AI technology for application development? And you can see the two areas where everyone said we would like to adopt is in the area of testing, application test automation, and generation of test cases from business requirements. Apart from some of the other like code completion, code suggestion, etc. The two big areas where AI is being adopted is in the space of testing. And similarly, the second graph, which is what is the plan to enable the use cases via AI-powered test automation. So within that also you can see generation of automated functional test cases is at the top. Then we have other areas like accessibility tests. So the point here is that if you have not thought about it, this is a low-hanging area where AI can really start making a huge productivity gain for the teams. So this is the right time to kind of start thinking about the areas where you can start using AI and make changes for your organization. Yeah. So with that, I would now move into the specifics of agentic AI and the change that we are seeing in the world of quality engineering and what should be an ideal agentic AI platform. And to get to that, a quick understanding of what is agentic AI, right? We have been talking about AI-based systems, Gen AI, but what is this agentic AI and how is it different from the traditional AI that we have seen, right? Especially, for example, we have been using ChatGPT, Claude, or other chatbots for almost more than 2 years. So So how is it different from what we have been doing so far? So I'm calling traditional AI as the typical agent that we have seen in form of chatbots or ChatGPT or Claude or any other systems that you might be involved with. So traditional AI is reactive and it waits for command, right? So for example, you can say, test the login page. You are giving a command and that traditional AI will execute that command. But agentic AI is goal oriented. So when you say that test the login page, or the better way to say to agentic AI platform is ensure success of my login screen. So it will figure out all different possibilities of uh, kind of testing has to be done and perform. It can also perform depending on how you envision the agentic AI for that particular case. But point is that agentic AI is typically goal oriented. The second difference is uh, traditional AI works in isolation, right? Where like if you give the same command test login, it will go and execute a login, and after that it will just stop. While in case of agentic AI, it can collaborate with other agents, share the information from one particular step to other step, so that you can create a much larger, you can achieve a much larger objective. And to be very frank, the same statement that I made, it can achieve a goal. And to achieve a goal, you need that sharing across different agents and to be able to perform a bigger task. Again, traditional AI follows a static rule and gives you an outcome, while agentic AI learns and evolves with uh, the outcome that it is seeing based on the command that you give it to the agent. So in a sense, agentic AI truly gives you ability to create autonomous systems where it can perceive what kind of environment it is in, it can make decisions, and then it can take the actions to achieve objectives, right? So it is in true sense uh, able to mimic human, and in our case, quality engineer, rather than focus on a particular task, right? So that way, the scope and the goal of a agentic AI system could be at a much bigger scale than a traditional AI system. Now, just going a little bit deeper into the architecture part of it, uh, it has, if you look at any agentic AI system under the hood, the general architecture has these four layers that you see on the screen. At the top, we have our orchestration layer. So think of it as a decision center that coordinates everything, right? So for example, when you say that ensure success of my login page, or make sure that my login page works correctly, uh, it will figure out what are different decisions that I need to take. What all coordination do I need to perform, right? So orchestration layer takes care of all the decision that it needs to perform, right? Then we have the second layer, and second layer is divided into three parts. Again, there are various design patterns, but this is one of the uh, simplistic way of representing the overall architecture. So it is broken into three parts: sense, think, and act. So sense means what is happening, right? So system can, I mean, the agentic AI system can perceive the environment through monitoring. And let's take a case of a quality engineering case where we design a self-healing system, right? So for self-healing system to work, there has to be someone monitoring where the failure happens, right? So sense means it's always looking at, okay, whether the failure happened or not, right? Once the failure happens, it thinks, okay, if the failure is a genuine failure, do I need to act on it? So it has its own way of reasoning. And then if it thinks that I need to make some changes to the self-healing, as to the script to self-heal, then it will plan, okay, what do I need to do? Where do I need to make the change? And then finally act. So then it decides, where do I need to go? I mean, what all changes do I need to make? And then it acts. And then this is not a sequential activity, sense, think, and act. It goes in a loop. So after act, let's say it will figure out whether it's now correct or not. And within that process, it might go and think again, right? Or it might send it back to sense, and the whole process gets repeated. So in a way, it is taking that decision autonomously, whether I'm in a sense stage, when do I need to move, think, act, and then how the loop uh, proceeds from there. But all this is powered by the true brain of the system, which is the LLM interaction layers, right? Because LLM enables the agentic AI system to perform these kind of actions, whether it's sense, think, or act, right? So LLM typically understands your intent and then translate into specific actions, whether you are in sense stage or think stage or act stage. And we have used LLM to do that at a as an individual tool, but within agentic AI system, you can see how LLM helps here. And then last one is learning and memory, right? Because one of the true nature of an agentic AI system is to learn from what is going on, right? So it has a learning capability, it has a memory capability. So every interaction, every outcome makes the system smarter. So past experiences lead to a better future decisions. So this is not just automating a task, right? You are creating a system which is evolving and can become better over a period of time. So that's the true nature of an agentic AI system. And I hope this architecture kind of explains what we are talking about. Now, with that, I think we have reached a stage where we can talk about what is, how can we envision a agentic quality platform? And this architecture that I'm going to present in terms of quality platform um, has come from our experience of building agentic AI platform within Pcloudy, right? So in Pcloudy now, we have launched so many agents for different activities. So how we have reached that stage, how um, you can use this experience of ours to build maybe agentic quality platform within your enterprise ecosystem. And the way I envision is every organization at some point of time would need to have their own agentic quality platform. So right now you have different tools. For example, you have an automation tool, you have your test management tools, you have your DevOps tools. But moving forward, at some point of time, you have to think of your own agentic quality platform. It could be in-house, it could be maybe adopting a COTS tool, but you need to think about what would be my agentic quality platform. Because that's how the quality engineering world is moving towards. So without taking much time, let me just kind of reveal the architecture that we have thought about, and you can leverage it for your organization as well. So if you look at again, it has multiple layers. The first layer is what we call it experience layer, right? So experience layer defines how teams can interact with a platform. It could be natural language commands like I have a prompt interface where I can pass on the command that give me test cases for a particular feature, right? Or share me a report from my Jira, or create an automation script for my feature. So I should be able to just provide my prompt and I should be able to get the outcome. And then you can have IDE plugins for developer integrations. You can have APIs to monitor your agentic AI systems. Uh, so you can define your experience layer. Again, it's very, it can be very enterprise specific, but there are various means through which you can have the experience layer. But natural language is going to be the primary experience layer for any organization. Now, you need to have the second layer, which we are calling it agent marketplace, right? This is your internal marketplace. So you need to think of, okay, for my quality engineering, what are different agents do I need? It could be public agents, it could be private agents. And public agent means, let's say, you might be using a Selenium-based automation script creation bot, maybe from a third party. Like we also have a bot called QPilot, so you can integrate our QPilot. So that's a public agent. You can also build your own private agents based on your own data. So you have a repository of those agents at one single place, which can be accessed by anyone through these interface or experience layer that I talked about. And these agents should be in a way where someone can install, fork, or customize, and then put it back in the agent marketplace, which is, again, your internal marketplace. But the third layer, which is the key to being a true agentic platform, is the multi-agent coordination. So one agent gives you a productivity, but as soon as you combine multiple agents, your productivity gains are at a different level, right? So for example, you can have a test creation agent which is helping you create your which is helping you automate your manual testing manual test creation process. But as soon as you I mean attach that agent to an automation agent, then your gain is at a different level. You create your scripts and at the same time you automate your script. Similarly, you can keep attaching agents and then you create workflows. And that is where multi-agent coordination or orchestration platform become extremely important, where you're able to attach multiple agents in a workflow and then execute it. So there are, I mean, industry tools like maybe Langflow or Anatane, if you have heard, or if you have heard the announcement, ChatGPT has launched its own agent orchestration platform, or you can build your own. We also have agent orchestration platform to help you create workflows using various agents. The fourth layer, which we also spoke about in the previous architecture diagram, is your AI fabric. So what kind of LLMs are allowed within your organization? It could be the standard public LLMs like OpenAI, Claude, or you can build your own models. Now, though model training or model hosting is a challenging task, but it has become much easier in last couple of years from the time we have seen so many models getting launched. So it has become much easier to fine tune a model or host a model in even very compute efficient kind of systems. So you can think of creating your own custom model for specific use cases. And especially, for example, if you're a banking application, I mean, banking organization, we have seen in so many cases, they are not allowed to use public LLM. So you have to depend on some local LLMs, which you can host it within your organization. And you can train that for custom use cases. So you have your AI fabric and you can provide access of different LLMs to the other layers that we talked about. And finally, this is not complete until you have your integration mesh. And by integration mesh, we means ability to connect this agentic AI platform to various tools that you might already be using. So maybe your test management systems like Jira, or maybe notification systems like Slack or Team. Now with MCP as one standard protocol, those integrations also have become much easier. So Jira already has its MCP. You can just quickly connect Jira MCP to your agentic platform, and those tools can be used within your workflow very easily. So you need to think about what are different tools that you're already using and how do you create those integration plugins or integration MCPs to be able to use that within this whole agentic AI system. So with these 5 layers, you can think of creating your own agentic AI platform. And that at some point of time has to become one central tool which your teams can access, right? And that is what I'm saying. It's intelligence everywhere and control nowhere. We have seen organizations building test COEs. So test COE has to evolve from a traditional test COE that we have seen in past with different tools in silos, to agentic AI platform where everything is bind together through all these layers that we have seen here. Great. Now, this is not easy. The question is, it all looks great. How do we reach that stage? And like any other journey, you can't reach the top without following a specific path. So based on, again, our experience of developing it and working with so many organizations, uh, this typically is a kind of maturity model that you can think about. So there are 5 levels here. Um, you can first assess where do you stand. Are you at the foundation level? Are you at enhanced automation level? Most of the organizations that we have seen are at somewhere between second and third. Third is assisted intelligence, where organizations are already using some AI-powered test generation. They're using some pattern-specific use. I mean, they have built some pattern-specific use cases to, let's say, detect bugs or maybe find out impact analysis within their applications. So assistant intelligence is where a lot of organizations exist today, but many are still at level 2. Now, from level 2, you can't reach level 5 immediately, right? So you need to think about, okay, from level 2, how do I reach level 3? If you're already at level 3, how do you reach level 4, which is the orchestration part of it? And then from 4, how do you reach 5, which is the self-evolving, where it's more about learning from what's going on and learning from all the data that you are collecting on a continuous basis. So you need to think about where do you stand and then plan accordingly. Typically, I mean, at a very, very high level, if I have to predict, it can take anything between 6 months to 24 months, depending on the pace that you can adopt within organization. Again, it varies. Some organizations are very fast. Some organizations have a lot of approval hierarchies. So it can take between 6 months to 24 months. But the point is, you need to assess where do you stand today, and then start taking steps to move to the ladder that we see here. So I hope this gives you some idea of where, how should we plan this journey. Like I said, you can't reach level 5. We haven't reached level 5. We are at level 4, and we hope to reach level 5 in some time. We are working towards it. So plan your journey accordingly, and start small, start doing experiments, but you need to start the journey sooner than later. Now, having talked about all that, this is more like painting a picture, right? This might sound like too good to be true, but we are reaching this stage. So this is, just imagine, maybe next 2 years, can you have this kind of workflow? And we have already seen a lot of organizations. For example, if you look at Facebook case studies, they have already achieved a stage where a lot of it that you see here is already happening. So this is kind of code push to testing kind of workflow. And each block that you see here is a kind of agent, right? Not kind of agent, these are agents. So let's say there is a code push that happens for a particular feature, which is around PCI compliance for a banking application, right? So the code analysis engine kicks in, code analysis agent kicks in, and it analyzes what are the impacts, and it then sends to the impact analysis agent, and it finds out, okay, there are so many services which are impacted. Now, based on that, it sends to a test generation agent. At the same time, an environment setup agent. These two are happening in parallel. And as soon as these two agents have their work done, the execution starts. And based on if it passes, it's fine. If it fails, then it goes into a triage. It goes to a triage agent, where it figures out whether fix is needed or we need to escalate it. Again, it could be one agent or it could be a separate agent. That depends on the architecture. And then overnight regression agent kicks in, and finally your release happens. So this is a kind of workflow that you can envision, and we are seeing this possibility in near future. Like I said, many organizations have already adopted this and have been able to achieve it. So it also depends on the maturity of how good your processes are. But if you have those processes, you can start thinking of those agents and think of this as an orchestration. Like I said in my previous slide also, the real productivity gain happens when you have these multiple agents working together in form of workflow. So think of, can you paint this picture within your organization? So the question is, again, going back to exponential impact, and I kept harping on this point that 1+1 in the world of AI could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 11. It's your choice, right? So agents don't just add individual value. As soon as you attach multiple agents, they multiply, and the effectiveness of the overall ecosystem can become exponential, and that's the true nature of a AI-driven ecosystem, which was not possible with the previous technology shifts that we had seen. So we can think of exponential impact with the true agentic quality platforms, and if we are able to build it the way we envisioned in the previous slides. Now, would like to quickly kind of talk about the elephant in the room, the new QE professional in this change space, right? And I talked about this a little bit in the beginning as well, that the role is changing, right? And another insight that we have seen is, in spite of all the fears that the with the AI can QEs be replaced, I mean, I'm finding it more and more difficult to believe that replacement is possible. But at the same time, elevation is definitely needed, right? And elevation in terms of moving from writing test scripts to becoming an intelligent curator, right? Um, uh, from maintaining automation frameworks to becoming quality strategists, from doing typical debugging of automation scripts to becoming agent orchestrators. So there are different expectations that will come into play as we move towards this whole agentic driven quality engineering organization. So from test engineer to quality strategist to AI curator or AI trainer is the kind of path we'll see more often, which will be expected from all of us. And with the systems that are available to us, with the knowledge which is available to us, I think we all have an opportunity to scale and elevate ourselves. And I'll again go back and repeat that statement that this is truly a very unique time in the history of technology where we all can become creators. We don't necessarily need to be stuck to being executors. You can become builder, you can become creators. That's the power which is provided to us with this AI wave. So what's the choice do we have? You can still wait and see, or look at other success stories to emerge. Or the option B is that you start today, right? You lead the change. And this can happen through experiments. This can happen through smaller steps. Um, and that is how we also achieved this whole agentic care quality platform in last 2 years. We went through a lot of experiments. We made a lot of mistakes, but we kept trying new things. And finally, I mean, I'm not saying that we have achieved a perfect stage, but we have achieved a stage where we can say we have a true agentic quality platform with us. So it's important that you start trying, experimenting with smaller agents, use cases, build smaller workflows, and then see the outcome of it, and then keep iterating. That's the key to success. There's no other shortcuts that I can suggest based on my experience. And again, a quote here that there was the best time to start was maybe yesterday. The second best time is now. So with that thought, I would like to conclude the discussion or the session that I wanted to talk about. We'll be happy to understand your perspective, and if you have some different thoughts, if you have tried something new within your organization, feel free to share. We can we can take up questions if you have any. Would also love to interact later, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can share your you can share and shoot a mail to my email ID. It's avinash.tiwari@pcloudy.com. Happy to have you here and talk about one of the topic that I'm so passionate about. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dinakar.
Great. Great. Thank you, Avinash. Thank you for that insightful session. You've covered a lot of aspects in terms of building agentic platforms for our quality systems as well. So we'll just get in quickly into a short Q&A section. I know we're running out of time, so we'll make it quick. I do have a couple of questions from the audience. So let me just shoot out one to you. Here's a question. Can you give an overview of Pcloudy's capabilities as an agentic quality platform?
Right. So again, if you remember the architecture that I shared with you, we have built multiple agents across different use cases that we serve. Of course, we are into the space of digital testing. So our agentic quality platform is focused in that area. So within that, for example, we have a test generation agent. From that, you can create a manual test cases. We have a test automation agent, which we call it Qpilot. So from that, you can generate your automation scripts. We have a performance analysis agent. So once you install your application, it can track your performance matrices, and then we have an analysis agent on top of that performance agent, which can analyze and gives you recommendations to improve your performance. We also have uh, visual AI agents. So depending on the use cases that you have within the digital testing, we have various agents in place. But one of the interesting aspects that we have built, and we are going to release it very soon, is this orchestration platform, right? So as a QA, how quickly can you build your agents for the QA use cases? So for example, you might want to create the workflow that we just saw in the presentation, right? Starting from, let's say, impact analysis to creation of test cases, and then based on that, find your right automation test case and execute it. That's a workflow that you might like to create. How can you create it easily? That's the orchestration platform we have built, and we are going to launch it very soon. So we have the full stack of agentic AI platform, various agents for use cases, and then you can combine those agents to create workflows. Another thing I would like to highlight is we are in a unique place here because we support both public LLMs. So let's say you can use OpenAI or some of the other popular public LLMs like Claude. But we also have the ability to host a local LLM for your various use cases. So if you're an enterprise and you are not supposed to use any public LLM, we can host our solution based on a local LLM, and that will be like dedicated for your tasks. So in that sense, we have a true agentic platform starting from the LLM fabric to various agents and then orchestration.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Just another question, I think, around frameworks and how do we do this internally. So, if we wanted to create our own domain-specific agents, for example, a banking app compliance agent, what skill set and frameworks would we need internally?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, building custom models and agents on top of it is slightly involved task, but it's becoming easier and easier as we are seeing the evolution of different tools and technologies in this space, right? So there are various open source models that exist, and first you can maybe download that model, and there are various platforms that are available where you can quickly download like LLM Studio, etc., and then start doing some experimentation as to how good those open source models are for your specific use cases. first you can do that evaluation, and after that you can think of, okay, if it's not giving you the right accuracy, you might have to add certain data and do some fine tuning. Now fine tuning requires a specific expertise, so you can take help of your AI team or LLM engineers if you have, or there are, I mean, enough material available if you want to get into detail and do it yourself. But there's slightly involved tasks where you can do some fine tuning based on the data that you have. Some cases you don't have to do fine tuning. You can use a RAG pipeline and add your data to the existing open source LLM, and it might help your use cases. And then on top of it, you can use some agent building platform like maybe Langflow or Crew, or you can write your own scripts to create your agents. So it's not so difficult at this moment of time. There are various frameworks and tools already available to make it as codeless as possible for you, but you need to understand what you're trying to do, and you should be very clear about the steps that you need to take. Like I said, first evaluate an open source LLM, then whether you want to use RAG or do some fine tuning. Those strategies require a little bit of understanding, but now with the help of chat GPT, you can also figure out the strategies and then start following the steps. So that's again going back to that point that we all can become the builder that we all wanted to. AI has given us that flexibility. So a very interesting point here, Dinakar, because this is where I see a lot of work happening in the AI space, building custom models, building use case specific models or agents on top of it is one big ask which will come our way from within every organization. And I think we all need to be ready for it.
Another interesting question. I mean, lots of questions coming up. So this one says, being QA engineers, how can we test LLMs currently? As you know, as most of the organizations are still in the developing or the experimenting phase. So building AI agents means we are involved in development as well. Is that
Yeah.
right? Is the
So that's
question
a
there?
that's a new emerging area and an opportunity for all of us as quality professional to learn the ability to test AI agents itself, right? So, for example, everyone is building AI agent. AI agent ultimately behind the scene either is interacting with LLM, and then there is some code. Now that code can go wrong, right? How do you make sure that the AI agent is performing the way you envision it to be, or it's performing the task which it was supposed to be? Plus, with AI systems, there are other new parameters. For example, the hallucination testing for hallucination, testing for bias, testing for security of the data. All that are new emerging areas in terms of the testing parameters that you might have to look at for AI agents. So and that, to be very frank, to call it testing is not the right word, right? I mean, we do this all the time. We call it evaluation. So we are moving from testing to evaluation, because you can't say for an AI agent or for a model that it is incorrect or correct. We are moving from that to you have to say it's 80% meeting the requirement. It's 90% meeting the requirement. You have to talk in terms of accuracy level. You have to talk in terms of hallucination levels. So it's a completely different paradigm. But I think with the evolution of every task being done through AI agents, testing of AI agent itself will become a new area which we all need to figure out how to do it. And at Pcloudy, we have developed a agent evaluation platform as well. If you'd like to test your AI agents or your custom models, you can use our platform to do that as well.
I know we're running short of question. I mean, we're running short of time, but I think just this last question, maybe Avinash, if you can, talk about how as AI agents take on more execution and decision making, how should the QE engineers evolve their skills, and how do they stay relevant and lead in this whole new paradigm?
Like I said, I touched upon that point in one of the slide as to how the role would elevate for all of us. So from writing scripts to agent orchestrators to agent testers, um, there are various new expectations that we all would have, and I think we are already seeing that. Um, so we all need to learn how to use AI effectively. That's one of the basic point I would like to address. Um, Learn a little bit of maybe maybe a little bit of coding as well to be able to effectively use AI systems, etc. So some of these expectations are emerging in terms of what is how the roles will evolve for quality engineers as well. But in a nutshell, yeah, I mean, the roles are changing for sure. But I definitely feel that we are not uh, in a stage where um, there is a risk of replacement. There is a risk of replacement if we don't upgrade ourselves. That's definitely true. But if we upgrade ourselves, it's opening up a huge new era for us. And like I said, it's an opportunity for all of us to become creators and builders.
Absolutely. Well, it's an absolute pleasure hearing from you, Avinash, and thank you for sharing all these valuable nuggets on building agentic systems for QE. And your presentation has covered a lot of practical insights. And I think the goal of this whole presentation, this whole webinar, is to get to start thinking and start to have these discussions back home in our work desks or in our meetings, in our development product meetings. I think that's the goal for everybody to take back here. And I'm sure while Avinash was speaking, you would have had that eureka moment or chalked out a few ideas to work on. And that's the goal, to get you thinking and gather your teams to start building on these ideas and have discussions around it. And so feel free to reach out to us. You've got Avinash's email, and you can reach out to us at info@pcloudy, or directly reach out to Avinash, and we'll get back to you at the earliest. And so, yeah, thank you, Avinash. Thank you for your time. And also, thank you to each one of our participants who has been a very engaging audience asking these questions, thought provoking questions. So, thank you, everybody, for sparing this time in this afternoon and being an engaging audience. And happy building.
Thank you so much.